So this new study just came out looking at ultra-processed foods and PFAS. And what's really interesting is that the results of this study completely surprised the researchers. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think more ultra-processed foods like chips, hot dogs, super ultra processed foods led to higher amounts of PFAS or lower amounts of PFAS? So they went into the study expecting that the more ultra processed foods that people ate, the higher amounts of PFAS they would have in their body. But guess what? It was actually the opposite. Lower. They did find that higher amounts of ultra-processed foods were associated with higher amounts of certain PFAS in people's bodies, right? Now, we can safely assume that those PFAS are the ones that are associated with processing, right? So PFHXS, which we know can be used in a lot of like fluoropolymers, every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption was associated with higher levels of PFHXS in people's bodies. So obviously that's coming from the manufacturing facility, the storage containers, lubricants in the machines, all of that. However, in general, the more minimally processed foods that people ate, the higher amounts of PFAS in their body. Now, why is this? So I can tell you it is because of meat and pesticides. Okay. It's now estimated that between 30 to 50% of all pesticides have PFAS in them, either active ingredients or inactive ingredients within the pesticide formulation. This sucks. And this is yet another reason why you should eat organic. And that goes for both meat, dairy, and produce. Okay. Farms can lose their organic certification if there are higher amounts of PFAS. And that has happened for lots of farms, including ones that produce milk and cheese and all of that. However, in this study, they did not delineate between organic or inorganic. Now, this does not mean that the more vegetables you eat, the more PFAS you have in your body. In fact, that's pretty much the opposite, because they found that this observation of PFAS in people's bodies was likely driven by food sources such as animal-based products, okay, meat and dairy, and of course seafood, which we know to be one of the biggest sources of PFAS in people's bodies. Ultimately, the greatest concentrations of PFAS were found in non-Hispanic Asians. That is because of their high consumption of seafood across all income levels. Researchers also found that males consumed higher amounts of minimally processed meats, which accounted for the higher levels of PFAS in their body. Yes, seafood is your number one dietary source of PFAS, straight up. And overall, the amount of vegetables that people eat, that helps detox PFAS from your body because of the amount of fiber. Dietary fiber from fruits and vegetables helps detox PFAS from your body, and folate from fresh fruits and vegetables helps prevent your body from absorbing PFAS to begin with. However, Americans in general eat way more meat, and certainly not organic, than pretty much anywhere else, than almost anywhere else in the world. And ultimately, if meat is a larger percentage of your total diet, that means that fruits and vegetables and fiber is a smaller percentage. So the amount of PFAS in people's bodies was really driven by the amount of meat, dairy, and seafood that they consumed, right? And of course, that is also considered minimally processed compared to chips. Certainly cutting back on seafood is a really good idea. And like, again, you don't have to be vegan, but just like eating a little bit less meat is going to go a long way. And then if you do eat meat, because you're not eating it as often, try and make it higher quality. Organic is better in lots of different ways.